1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever click you choose, you better
say what's cracking YouTube. It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on the intro. Like I keep telling y'all, the flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. You want to check out more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, and you will find a lot of my music there. Now let's hop right up into this video. So this video takes place in a prison known as Ironwood. Ironwood was a level 3 prison, and it's in the city of Blythe. Blythe is in Southern California, and actually it's about 15 minutes from Arizona. So in the summer, it gets extremely hot. A lot of times when they would release us to chow by in the morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock, it would already be 100+ degrees. So it was extremely hot. So initially I was on A yard. This is 2003, if I didn't mention, like sometime maybe around February, February, March. Initially I'm on A yard. The blacks end up getting into a riot with the whites. So then I'm sent to C yard. Now, when I get to C yard, I got a lot of homies over there as well. When I say homies, I'm talking about dudes who collectively pushed Inland Empire. So you had the homie Vendog, rest in peace, from Gateway. You had Little Swift from Gateway. You had Hitman over there from Gateway. We had a lot of homies. OG Chances was over there. You had the homie Maurice Tansey, rest in peace, from Colton City Crip. You had the homie Head from the Heights. Caesar McDowell. You know, we had a lot of homies. Snoop from PPHG. It was well too many homies for me to all remember a name at that time, but we had a lot of homies on that yard. So my homie Pee Wee, who also is a white Crip, he was on the yard. Me and him eventually ended up being cellies. So I may have stayed on that yard maybe 3 or 4 months, and then we get into another riot with the Bloods on that yard, and they took us to the hole. So when I say us, I'm talking about everybody who they feel was participated in that riot. So it was about 30, 40 of us between the Bloods and the homies from IE. So as they're housing us, you know, putting the Bloods in the cell with the Bloods, IE in the cell with the IEs, they send me up to the cell. Initially, when I get to the cell, nobody is in the cell. So I go up there as I'm making my mattress. I'm kind of looking down, making my bed up. I'm looking down to see who I'm going to get for a cellie. I look up and here come OG Chances, man. Now, you already know about Chances if you watch some of my videos I've described him. Definitely with the business, a convict, an extremist when it came to staying on point. And he took his survival serious in prison. So he gets up in the cell, man. He's not in the cell, I would say 2 or 3 minutes, man. And he says, yeah, homie, so we'll probably just chill and take the rest of the day off, homie. But do you know how to make weights out of the mattress, homie? Yeah, I'll show you how to roll the mattress up, homie. And we'll make some weights. And so that's what we did, man. So the very next day, you know, we got to it. Like I said, man, it's hot up in there, right? And it's burning up. You know, it's summertime and stuff. And then we also, when you in the hole, so some people when they think of the hole, they may be thinking about an old image they seen on some 1960s movie. No, it's nothing like that. The hole is the exact same building that you're in general population, minus your amenities and certain things to make doing time a little bit more easier. So you don't get your TV, you don't got your radio, of course, you know, you don't have no books. You don't have none of your canteen, none of your food, none of that stuff. Later on, they will bring you some of your canteen, and later on you can get a few books or whatever. But initially you have nothing, and so it's just pretty boring up in there. And like I said, it's hot as hell out there in Ironwood. So how we make the weights? You roll up the mattress, you cut some strings like off your sheets, you tie it up, and it's pretty heavy. You can curl it and all that stuff like that. So eventually also we get approved to go to the yard in the hole. Now at that time, the yard in the hole was just one giant big old fenced in like dog kennel. So it wasn't individualized dog kennels like they did years later. So at that time, all the crypts is on one yard. So now we out there, we exercising, and you stay out there probably about 3 hours. So we out there, we exercising. It's hot, like I say. You get back in, they not necessarily feeding you well. So it was definitely it was definitely a task, right? And so eventually, after I stay in there about 3 or 4 months, I'm found not guilty of participating in that riot, and they sent me to B Yard. So now when they send me to B Yard is already on lockdown because of a riot that happened maybe a few months before between the blacks and the Mexicans. Now I wasn't on that yard at the particular time the riot happened, and so a lot of times you may even be on the yard and not necessarily know why a riot really jumped off. But to my understanding, in 5 building, you had a dude from 40s who was getting ready to go home in maybe about a week. He happened to see a Southsider that I believe he had gotten into it with on the street or whatever. They had some prior altercation. They had a few words, a fight ensued, and then a riot jumped off. Now, at the time of this riot, they're releasing the buildings for child. So the riots hit a few different buildings. It also jumped off in the gym. To my understanding, when it jumped off in the gym, after they went in there, the COs went in there and tried to get things under control. At some point, they removed all the Southerners from the gym. After they did that, the blacks, to my understanding, went through the Southerners' property, stole their personal property like CD players, clothes, food, so on and so forth, right? Now, of course, a lot of y'all gonna say that's messed up, and I've heard several different YouTubers of different ethnicities tell stories where it's done back and forth. Yeah, it may be a cold thing, but you do have some individuals of the mind state like, I was just in a riot with these dudes. They was trying to stab me, hit me with locks in the sock, hurt me, whatever. So stealing their property is just, it's just a part of a casualty of war, maybe. So anyway, nevertheless, the Southsiders was rumored to be upset about that. So tensions was still boiling behind those issues. So now when they release me from the hole, until they get you to where you're going, you're handcuffed. So I'm handcuffed. They take me to B Yard. I believe it was 2 buildings that they was putting me in. Now, as the police is uncuffing me, I heard him say, hold on, man. We got to keep these 2 dudes separated. Now, mind you, the yard is locked down already due to this riot. So I'm wondering like, well, damn, who the hell they got to keep me separated from? So after they unhandcuff me and escort me into the building, on the side of the building, I see a blood by the name of G. Mike, who was also in the riot on C Yard. He obviously has been found not guilty or whatever, and he's getting released. And they're not only putting him on the same yard that I was on, they put him in the exact same building, right? So that's the issue right there, right? Now, fortunately, me and G Mike had a good rapport with each other. We was on A Yard at one point in time. I believe we was in the same building, and we used to play basketball a lot together. He used to call me Big Game James. And so we had a rapport, right? But still in all, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not tripping, because some people take riots more personal than others, right? And so not only do I have that issue brewing, I also have the issue brewing of the yard being on lockdown, and it might go up with the blacks and the Mexicans when they release us. So it's a whole lot going on. And when you getting out the hole, I said in the hole 3-4 months, it's like, okay, now I'm trying to go to a yard and kick back and chill to keep it 100. But now these are the things that's constantly occurring in the penitentiary, and you got to be on point, right? So when I get up in there, we can say, luckily for me, everybody's on lockdown. So they're cell feeding us. And so eventually they bring me my property in 3 or 4 days. When they bring me my property, I had some big old cans of chicken. I took the tops off the cans, folded them. You can fold 2 tops, make you a little knife, sharpen it, put a handle on it, It wasn't the best thing, right? But in that situation, it was the best thing that I could get, and something was better than nothing. Maybe in a week or two, I don't remember exactly how long it was, they started doing what they call modified program, where now they're letting all the blacks walk the child. Then we'll come back, they're letting all the Mexicans and the whites walk the child. So of course, like I say, I got this potentially unresolved issue with G Mike. Now, from playing basketball with G Mike, I already know G Mike is left-handed. G Mike is maybe about 6 feet 6'1", maybe about 215, 220. You know, he's definitely much bigger than me, got a little size on him. So that's my first issue to try to resolve and see what's going on and temperature check with G Mike. So when we get out, I walk up to him, I see him, I come up behind him on his left hand, From playing basketball with him, I know he's left-handed. So in the event he go to tripping and want to get off or whatever, my whole thinking was, at least I'm gonna be right next to his power hand. He gonna have to use his off hand. So I push up on him. I say, "Hey, G Mike, what's good, man? What's cracking?" You know, he say, "Oh man, well, chill. You know, that stuff was on C Yard, and I'm gonna get at the homies, and more than likely we gonna leave that on C Yard." He say, "We got bigger issues to fry. We got bigger fish to fry with the potential things that's going on over here with the Southsiders, man." So he said, of course, if some of my homies hit the yard that was in that riot, I'm gonna let them know that's a dead issue. You do the same with your homies, so on and so forth, right? So, okay, that's one issue that's out the way. But now the issue is still brewing of the issue with the blacks and the Southsiders on B Yard. And at that time in Ironwood, B Yard was kind of known as the yard that was going to get cracking. It was an active yard. All yards was active, but I'm talking about B Yard was a problematic yard, and also D Yard. You had more issues on those yards than you did on A Yard and C Yard, right? And so when they finally resumed normal program for all the buildings, meaning letting everybody come out and program together, you know, it's definitely a whole lot of tension in the air, you know, because everybody, all cars, or at least all parties between the Southsiders and the blacks, of course, they on point. They trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody from different groups is grouping together, making sure all they people is straight, right? And so we trying to figure out, what's going on, because a lot of times you may get into it with any group and they'll tell you it's cool, but then it's really not cool. They still tripping and they want to take off and get some more get back or whatever, right? And so I can't quite recall. This is maybe the first week that they have resumed normal program on B Yard. So everybody is out, everybody is still being extremely cautious. So as I'm walking the track, I'm coming around the track, and I'm walking the track really on the opposite way of you're supposed to walk the track. So I've really just passed the chapel and I'm coming towards 5 building. I passed the visiting gate. It's a big old visiting gate. They let you out to go to the visiting room. Then it's a building, 5 building. I look and see it's a Paisa dude, man, sitting on the ground. Suddenly a couple of other Paisas run up on him and rush him, and they grab him from the side. Then you got another Paisa right there just on him, man, just stabbing him. Wop, 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 wop. Just stabbing him. So of course, when you see a situation like this, the protocol is to really not look over there, try not to draw your attention to what's going on, but to keep it 100. When you see somebody getting stabbed and work like that, it's kind of hard to avert your eyes and not pay attention, especially when I'm walking. He's really literally right in front of me. I'm still going to have to walk maybe 15, 25 steps before he gets to the point he's side by side of my peripheral vision, right? So they was on him, no, man. Wop, 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 wop. He's struggling. It was a cold thing, man. You got the other dudes holding him down, and they, he's strapped, he's talking in Spanish and hollering or whatever, man. So we kept walking a few steps, and I believe they end up getting away. If my memory serves me correct, I believe they got away initially, and then the alarm was hit, right? But and then we end up having to get down or whatever. But when you see something like that in prison, man, it's a cold situation, right? Because one, it's a dude over there, getting stabbed up. You already know that he could potentially lose his life. But how things go in prison, you're supposed to not look, you're supposed to mind your business or whatever. And, so it's just a cold situation how these things happen and occur a lot of times in prison, man, and you get accustomed to seeing people in situations like this. Just imagine walking past somebody, man, seeing this dude get held down, seeing this dude get stabbed and stuff. And, basically you supposed to just keep on walking, right? It's just a cold situation, because of course he was a Pisces, so it was other Pisces over there putting in the work on him. So it's just like you thinking like, damn, and at the end of the day, when you mess up, your own homies is going to come and get you. He was sitting on the ground and the dude really didn't have a chance. I don't know exactly why they was trying to remove the dude or stabbing him or whatever. But in my opinion, just passing, seeing everything as I'm walking by, he had no idea what's coming, because he wasn't on point. He wasn't concerned, in my opinion. He was just sitting up against the wall, and some other dudes came and grabbed him, man. And, then he got to hollering and struggling and they holding him down, So I never found out what ended up happening to him, if he lived or survived. But it definitely was a vicious prison removal, man. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.